Tower of Fantasy in 2023. The critical state and massive decline. Well, that doesn't sound good at all. You guys can remind me about the Genshin trailer after this, okay?
Is not a bad game. On the contrary, let me preface this by stating that Tower of Fantasy is not a bad game. On the contrary, at its core, it's actually a very fun, very beautiful MMO. But it is grossly mishandled. It has seen hackers repeatedly exploit issues that were known to be present in the Chinese version and time gates progression, all of which have severely inhibited its success and further, its growth. While no game is perfect, despite some people believing that their game is, the vast majority of video games, and even more specifically, gacha games, see a decline in terms of active players and revenue. Case in point, Path to Nowhere, which is regarded as one of 2022's biggest hits, earned $7 million globally in its first month. In its second month,
Holy fuck.
it made $3 million. That is a 57% drop in revenue over 30 days. How is Tower of Fantasy doing comparatively? We'll take a look at that as soon as I thank each and every one of my patrons over on Patreon. Your guys' support is invaluable to this channel and to me, and I cannot express how grateful I am to all of you. Also, if you have a moment, consider following me over on Twitch. I stream there every weekend. Tower of Fantasy released globally on August 10th, 2022. It had one of the largest launches of the year with millions of players lined.
It was actually pretty crazy to see how many people played Tower of Fantasy whenever it came out. I remember there were it was about a good week or so that it was one of the top directories on Twitch.
Lining up to get in game and to try it out. In its month of release, Tower of Fantasy...
By the way, this fucking ability here, I'm pretty sure this thing is garbage. Because, like, your basic attacks just do more damage than this thing.
He saw millions of new downloads. Player activity was off the charts. Social media was overrun with players sharing screenshots, their thoughts, their opinions, and ultimately was one of the top trending topics across Twitter for several days.
Yeah.
That first month, which comprised a little over...
To be fair, the reason why Tower of Fantasy was trending on Twitter is that everybody was asking, why the fuck are the collectible items on the starting zone island time gated for 48 hours? That's what everybody was tweeting about. They were looking around for. That's what it was. It was ridiculous.
The game managed to accumulate $34 million in total revenue across Android and iOS devices. And according to sources, not only do a large number of players active play via and also spend...
I can't fucking believe that they sponsored Emmy to play this game like 5 times. I remember they never fucking pay me to play the game. I paid them to play the fucking game. I have like multiple fucking like max star characters I played. I 100%ed every zone. Yeah, the whole time I said how bad the game was. I mean, you know, it is what it is. But I did play it. I mean, what the fuck?
Via their phones, but
I paid
Japan
for him
makes
to
up
sponsor.
well
Yeah,
over 40% of all revenue generated.
And it was like 3 times.
$34 million is a massive opening for a gacha game. There was only one other release this year that could compete with the success that Tower of Fantasy saw, Nikke, which also managed to earn...
Why is anybody surprised about this? Like, I do think that it's like, you know what I really think it is? You know how, like, the booba streamers, like, when did they really take off? I think booba streaming really took off whenever they stopped pretending like they're playing video games. Stop pretending like you're playing video games. I know why you're here. You know why you're here. Let's get down to business. And I think Nikke, the reason why it's successful is because of that. It's because it doesn't pretend like it's a game. Well, it kind of does, but everybody knows it's not the point. And they don't even try to have it be like they literally had, yeah, as I said, they had Tectone, a fucking ad for this video game. This is an ad. It says one-handed shooting game. And it has Tectone with one hand on his lap and the other on the mouse.
more than Genshin did globally in its month of release, an achievement that no other gacha can really claim in recent memory. September came around and saw a decrease from $34 million down to $24 million in revenue. That's just shy of a 30% drop. And
I love how, like, you know, in other video games, you know, you compare like subscriber numbers. In certain games, you'll compare like Steam players. With games like Tower of Fantasy, you just compare about how much money the game made. It's pretty much the same thing.
A much better ratio than was seen in Path to Nowhere. Unfortunately, concurrent and monthly active players for September weren't tracked, so it's unconfirmed how significant or insignificant the player base drop was. October was where things really got interesting, though. October saw the release of their first major update, 2.0.
I never did this
which
one.
was touted by many players on Discord and Reddit as a patch that would save the game. Also seeing the title launch onto Steam. What we saw, however, was a decrease from $24 million to $6 million in revenue. While a 30% drop in its first month is relatively insignificant, this was instead a much more alarming 75% decrease in revenue.
Well, I'll tell you why. One of the reasons why there's a decrease in revenue.
Alarming
it's this fucking mechanic right here. This is a mechanic where he just goes underground and he just comes out of the ground with a non-telegraphed attack that you just have to count in your head if it's going to hit you or not, and it does your entire health bar. I think his name is like Sobek or some fucking shit. This boss was trash. I can't believe they reused him. The fuck them, it's just garbage.
5% decrease in revenue.
Yeah, true.
That is of immediate concern. This month was also the first month where player statistics were tracked, showing a total of 613,000 active players logging in over the course of the month of October. From upwards of 5 million players to 600,000 over a month and a half is quite a substantial decline in activity, but players were likely just expecting something different from the game, resulting in a mass exodus of interested players. November saw the introduction of patch 2.1, including a fan favorite character, Lyn. Given the introduction of an entirely new area and character, there should have been a sizable increase in earnings, right? And honestly, that really wasn't the case. What we saw was instead an increase from $6 million to $8 million in revenue. That was a 33% increase, which sounds impressive, but given patch 2.0, 2.1, and Lyn all released within several weeks of one another, you'd have thought that players would be spending more. November also...
The problem, there's no hype in the game, and they took too long to do server transfers, too. Like, I remember I was playing in this game, in the game, and I was like, oh, I'm going to join everybody else's guild, and then I realized that nobody else in the entire, like, fucking Twitch, nobody else that goes on twitch.television plays on my server. Everybody else is on another server. So I'm sitting there all by myself like a fucking loser, and I joined some anime simp guild called Thideology. And I never talk to these people, and then I log on, I look at guild chat, and like 3 days ago, somebody's talking shit about me. It's like, what the fuck is this? And then finally, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna transfer to another realm, and I couldn't do it. And then, even better yet, so there's one hairstyle in the game, which is like a long hairstyle, kind of like Sephiroth in a way. And I had just got done watching Fist of the North Star. And I'm like, bro, if I can use this hairstyle and change the color of this dude's outfit, he's going to look just like Shin. It's going to be fucking perfect. And you know what? You can't use it in the game. Even if you unlock it, you can't use it in the character customization. So it's just all these little stupid fucking things. There's no reason for them.
Saw a decline in active players
now. Yes,
from 600.
That's nice. You can transfer now. But guess what? You weren't able to. See, you can't go and just say, oh, well, we're going to have server transfers in the future. Bitch, fuck the future. The game sucks now. I don't want to sit around and play the game for 3 weeks, for 2 months, until you guys figure out how to click a button.
10,000 to 460,000. That's 150,000 track players just up and vanishing over the course of a month. Even after all of the aforementioned...
I'm telling you, bro, like, Oh my god. And then like the channel system, I felt like I might as well have been playing Genshin Impact, because isn't that a single player game? Yeah, so is Tower of Fantasy. There's 75 different channels for each zone. There's 75 players in the zone. Every person has their own version of the zone.
And updates, which really should have been motivation for them to come back and at least try them out. December, a month that saw an increase in earnings for Genshin Impact, Uma Musume Raid Shadow Legends, the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, Blue Archive, and a plethora of other games, all of which I covered in my video yesterday if you want to check that out, left Tower Fantasy seeing yet another decline in total earnings to an all-time low of $5 million. That is a 37%.
Imagine only making $5 million, guys.
Drop. This is with the introduction of patch 2.2 on December 22nd, the Nemesis rerun event on the 15th through the 26th, another new character in the form of Tianlang. We also saw a decline in terms of active players from 460,000 in November to 270,000 in December. A drop from 5 million to 200,000 in 4 months is an unfathomable exodus of players, and is the most critical the player base has ever been. Regardless of whether you're a blind hater of the game and want nothing other than its failure, or an unfaltering...
Well, I think another reason, I mean, like, let's be honest, another reason why this game isn't doing well is because Final Fantasy just had a patch. World of Warcraft just had an expansion. New World had basically an expansion with Brimstone Sands. Also, Lost Ark has, had Belshazzar and Cockle Sadon come out in that period of time. Genshin has had updates as well. Like, people are going to go and play different games. Yeah, the Sumeru update, is that it? Yeah.
Ardent defender of it, you cannot argue that this is beyond alarming for the game if it continues on this trajectory. Tower of Fantasy, it might be a fun game, it might be a gorgeous game, but it is headed into 2023 in the worst state that it has ever been in. It has seen a decrease of 95% in terms of players, and a
95%. That's pretty bad. Like, just for context, that's worse than New World pre any of the changes. Like, no changes made to New World, still retained. I mean, at least they only lost 90% of their players. Yeah, I mean, damn.
Decline to the amount of 85%.
Somebody said it in chat. Anime Shadowlands.
In terms of monthly revenue. This is over 4 months only. Where will it be 6 months from now? This game is headed in one direction, and that is an undeniable certainty. How long it takes to get there is the only question on our minds. I don't think that the game is really going to see much in the way of additional growth in the future, despite what active players want for the game, which is a shame because this game could have been great. Could have being the keyword.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could have been good, but you can't release a game half-cooked with a bunch of stupid fucking features to it and then expect people to play the game. They released the game with a bunch of features that were not available. It's not a surprise, and like even the chat system in the game was fucking garbage. It's terrible. Like, look at World of Warcraft has a great chat system. It's really, really, really good. Final Fantasy, I think WoW's is better, to be honest. I think WoW's chat system is way better than Final Fantasy's, but Final Fantasy's system is great. New World system is, it's good, right? The truth is, Tower of Fantasy system is fucking garbage. And the only time that I was ever in general chat, it was just a bunch of fucking weebs spamming these little fucking emotes of anime girls over and over and over. Nobody could talk. Nobody could have a conversation. And then finally at like 4 a.m., some guy's like, hey guys, who's ready for Donald Trump to come back? And then people would start talking about it, and then the anime faces would start popping up again, and then nobody gave a shit about him anymore. And that's it.
It's here. Now, if Tower Fantasy isn't your thing, don't worry, I got you covered with 2 videos on screen right now. One featuring a list of every confirmed gacha releasing this month, January 2023, and the other featuring a recently announced gacha game that you should totally be checking out.
I don't understand why people would want to go out of their way to play a game that had gacha in it. Like, I can understand that people that want to play a game because they think it's good and the game incidentally has gacha in it as well. But I can't imagine, like, you know, you have, like, your favorite genre. It's like, you know, mine is, like, maybe MMORPG or, like, action RPG games. And, like, maybe FPS is, like, a close or maybe kind of like a second to that. Like, who the fuck tries it? It's fun, but why? Like, what's fun about this? I don't get it, okay? I'm not a gambler. I've never gambled. Never gambled my money, ever. Does not happen. People like dopamine from getting 5-star, also waifus. But what do you mean dopamine? Like, you're like, you just have to spend money. You're not winning anything. Like, for example, if you get the character and you only spent $230, you just spent $230. Like, you just took that money, lit it on fire. It's not like you can cash the character out. This isn't a blockchain game. You're not going to be able to sell it, you know, and put it on CryptoZoo and put it back in its egg. No, you just, best case scenario, you have a good character in a video game that you paid money for. Who cares? I don't understand it. It feels good because the game assigns artificial value. With chances are low, makes you feel like you won. It's worth... I just can't understand. Like, yes, obviously, when you're playing the game, it's cool that you get the item. But, like, fuck. I just don't understand. I cannot get it. I like it whenever I hit a hone in Lost Ark or I get my character in Tower of Fantasy. But at the end of the day, if I don't get it, I just spend another $100 and then I get it. And if I don't get it, then I spend another $100 and then I get it. I just repeat that process. Like, here, let me go ahead. Here, I'm going to show you guys. This is the gacha flowchart. Okay, let me see if I can think this up. Okay. Okay, so want character. Okay, this is your want character. And then we're going to go over to here. That's going to be yes, and this is going to be no. YES. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead, put it right about there, and then no. Or sorry, let me see here. Not want character. Okay. Have character. Okay, have character. Yes and no. Okay, no. Spend $100. Okay. And then this is did you get? And let's go back over here. And let's go over here. Did you get it? Alrighty. And oh shit, I just realized. Okay, shit, this is not good. Oh no. Oh no, I did not realize this. I messed up my graph. Okay, did you get it? Okay, this is yes. That looks like an S or an X. This is yes, this is no. Okay. And then, so if the answer is, actually, wait a second. Did you get it? Yes. No. Okay, and then if it's no, I did this in college, guys. If it's no, it goes back over to spending $100. And if the answer is yes, then you go to the next one here. And then this one is get excited about new character. Okay? And then after you do that, it goes back over to here. And so this part actually doesn't even matter. Oh, actually, yes, if the answer is yes. Oh, yes, it does. It goes all the way. Oops. Let me make sure that I don't mess it up here. Okay, it goes right here. And so this is the gotcha gaming guide. Yeah, right here. This is good. There we go. So this is the way it works. So let me explain exactly in case anybody doesn't understand this. So do you have the character? If the answer is yes, then you get excited about new character. And if you have it, then you repeat that cycle. And if the answer is no, you spend $100. Did you get it? If the answer is no, then you spend $100 again. But if the answer is yes, then you get excited about new character. And do you have that character? No, it's a new character. And then so you spend $100. And did you get it? Oh, wait. Yes, you need to get it on 6-star. That's true. I forgot about 6 stars. Yeah, this is the way it works, guys. And so you repeat this until you run out of money. Yeah, you just do this until you run out of money, and then that's it. You're done. Yeah, did you get it? Did you hone? Yeah, exactly. Feels absolutely awful, though, whenever you run out of money. Yeah, I bet it does. Oh, my fucking God. Is that the same thing with expansions in WoW? No, it's not the same thing with expansions in WoW. Number one, I was going to say they don't cost $100, but now they do, actually. But that's only for the premium edition. So, yeah, this is where we're at here, guys. There's a clear reason why gambling exists. Yes, this is the gotcha flowchart, gentlemen. How the fuck can I zoom in on this? There we go. Oh my God. Why? What is this? Like, it can only be like fucking 100. Oh, there we go. I forgot about this little thing. What the fuck is this? It can only go from 50 to 100? What about like 150? What about like 120? This is so what a piece of shit. What a piece of shit program. How does Microsoft still have such a shitty fucking program? I don't understand this. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't apply to free-to-play players, though? Yeah, it doesn't. This is the way you play gotcha, guys. I think this is actually one of my good ones. I might save this to my might save this to my computer.